Do you ship large parcels across the country with FedEx, UPS, or USPS? If so, chances are we can help you save a lot of money. Hi, my name is Thomas. I'm the founder of Perseuss, and today I'd like to show you exactly how we could do that. Let's say you're a warehouse, and let's say you're shipping a decent amount of large B2B orders. Maybe you're a B2B distributor, or you're a 3PL that does a lot of FBA prep work. Let's say you get a decent amount of orders that are hundreds of items and tens or hundreds of pounds. The way you ship it with the common carriers, what most people do is to just put everything in like one big giant box and then take the cheapest carrier that ships that one giant box. If you're doing that, you are likely overpaying by 10 or 20%, which could be tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars down the drain per month, depending on your size. The reality is you have to play a certain game with the carriers. The contract's complicated. This problem is complicated. Sometimes one big box is the cheapest way to ship things. Sometimes it's cheapest to break it down into two boxes. Or sometimes it's cheapest to do 5 tiny ones, or maybe 1 medium one and 3 tiny ones. It's complicated, depends on the number of items, depends on the destination, depends on the weights and the voluminousness of individual items. It sounds like something that the warehouse management systems should be able to solve. In reality, most of them don't, and you definitely don't want the person packing thinking about this. You don't want them to be solving these equations. You want a system to do this automatically and quickly. This is what Perseuss does. Given contents of an order and an origin and destination pair, we can estimate very quickly and very accurately what is the best way to pack your orders and save you a lot of money doing that. That's the theory. Let's jump into a practical demonstration. So here we have an example of a packer in the warehouse. This is one of our customers. They're, in this blue bin, that's the purchase order, 50 pounds worth of stuff, 100 items or more. Her job is to sort it into boxes in a way that's most cost efficient. The system has already computed for her that there's one big box and 2 medium-sized boxes. And now, as she's scanning the individual items into the system it's telling it with these light strips where to put the individual items. That's the zoom out, how it's being used. On the software side, it looks as follows. This is the order history, live data. We can grab a particular interesting order. This is a big order. Let's try to replay this big order. We see it's going from New Jersey to Louisiana, 284 items, 75 pounds. These are the boxes that, this is like a configuration of the system. We want the packer to use all possible boxes, but sometimes when we run out of cartons, we want the system to be smart enough to optimize without a certain carton. We also let this fill rate be a little bit configurable. In reality, you want to pack boxes as much as possible, but sometimes, 100% is not always achievable. It's going to try to overfill the boxes. So we found 70% tends to work. Sometimes it's better more, sometimes it's better less. Configuration that is not here displayed but is possible is you might want to have like a delivery constraint. This thing needs to get shipped in 2 days or 1 day or 3 days. This way, then it just selects the ship. It runs the optimization with ship methods that only satisfy that constraint. Now, here we've been running the algorithm for like a minute or so, and we see it found a couple of ways we could ship it. We have the standard way, the before algorithm way of shipping it, splitting it into 5 boxes of certain types. Now, the cheapest way is still using 5 boxes, but it's using different 5 boxes. It's essentially using 2 big boxes and 3 tiny boxes versus here, which was 5 medium-sized boxes, right? Turns out that this is, and that's what you see all the time. Like sometimes those medium boxes are the best, sometimes they're not, and you don't really know unless you run the computation. And once we have found a solution that we like, then the system needs to guide the individual packer through the scanning process. Like right here, we see that, here are the items as she's scanning the individual things into the system, right? It's scanning the individual UPCs. As she's scanning it, it's on the software side, it's telling her on the screen that put it into box 01, which would be here. And if the customer wants, we have hardware integrations, and then it starts blinking a light here, right? And so yeah, that's pretty much how we do it. We figure out what the best way to pack something is, and then we guide the packers through the packing procedure, because it is important that the packer executes the packing procedure precisely, otherwise those savings can't be achieved. Now, the most interesting thing for our customers is that we measure what we do, and then we send out on a monthly basis a report of how much money we've saved them, and most importantly, this translates into bottom line savings, right? And we also have detailed breakdowns for each individual order so that they can audit how exactly those savings are achieved. This also serves as a content for future improvements or future learnings. Oh wow, this is how we save this amount of money. Wow, if we do this even more, we'll save even more money, right? Now, you might be wondering, like, this might sound too good to be true. Could we help you this much? The reality is, we don't know, maybe, but we have a process to quickly figure out if yes. If, let's say, you do have a warehouse and you ship a bunch of stuff across the country, maybe you ship some small things, but you also ship some big things, just give us a CSV of your orders and of your carrier contracts, and we can run a simulation of what you did and what you could have done, and then we compare the diff. And if the diff is interesting, then we can have a conversation about how to get some of that diff back. And if it's not, if it's negligible or it's not interesting, then we leave as friends. But yeah, the point is that if you're leaving the packing decisions up to packers for these big orders, you're likely leaving a lot of money on the table. Let us help you get some of that back. Thank you for listening to my video, and I'm waiting for you to get back to me. Let's make something cool together. Bye.